The morning light filtered through the windows of Sterling Enterprises' executive floor as I pushed my cleaning cart past mahogany doors and designer suits. 3 years of playing the invisible maintenance worker was about to pay off in the most spectacular way. "Hey, janitor." Executive VP Thomas Sterling called out, not even bothering to learn my name after all this time. "Conference room needs cleaning before the board meeting. And make it quick, we have important matters to discuss." Important matters like the mysterious buyer who'd been acquiring company shares through various shell corporations. The same buyer they'd be meeting in exactly 1 hour. "Right away, sir," I replied quietly, hiding a smile as I adjusted my maintenance uniform, beneath which I wore a custom Brioni suit that cost more than Thomas's car. "And try not to disturb anything on the table," his sister Victoria added, clicking past in her Louboutins. "These documents are worth more than you make in a year." If she only knew those documents detailed the complete transfer of Sterling Enterprises to its new owner, me. The maintenance worker they'd mocked for 3 years while I systematically bought their company from under them. My phone buzzed discreetly, a message from Marcus, my CFO. "Everything's set. Board members arriving early. Ready to drop the bomb." I glanced at the Sterling siblings, who were now loudly discussing their plans for the company's future. A future they wouldn't be part of after today. "Tell Angela to come up with the papers," I texted back. Angela, my head of legal, had been posing as a junior secretary, gathering evidence of every questionable decision the Sterling family had made. "Can't believe Dad still insists on these old-school board meetings," Victoria complained, checking her reflection in the window. "We should just sell to the highest bidder and be done with it." Thomas snorted. "As long as it's not that mystery buyer everyone's talking about. Probably some tech upstart who doesn't understand real business." Real business. Like the global conglomerate I'd built while pushing a mop around their offices. The empire that had systematically acquired every company the Sterlings had rejected or undervalued. "Mr. Sterling," Angela appeared, playing her part perfectly. "The board members are arriving. Should I show them in?" Finally, Thomas straightened his tie. "Get the janitor out of here first. Don't want the board seeing the help." The help. If they only knew that every maintenance worker, every secretary, every person they'd dismissed as beneath them had been reporting directly to me for the past 3 years. "Of course, sir," Angela nodded, then whispered to me as I pushed my cart toward the door. "Everything's ready, boss." I smiled, thinking about the security teams quietly taking position throughout the building. "Tell Marcus to start the transfer. Time to show them who really runs this company." The board members filed in, old money mixing with new, none of them suspecting that the janitor they'd stepped around for years was about to become their boss. "Where's this mystery buyer?" Thomas demanded as everyone took their seats. "Dad's not going to like delays." "Oh, they're here," Angela replied cryptically, checking her tablet. "Just finishing up some cleaning." I waited in the adjacent room, finally removing the maintenance uniform to reveal the impeccable suit underneath. 3 years of patience, of careful planning, of letting them think I was nothing more than the help, had led to this moment. My phone buzzed again. "Marcus, stock transfer complete. You now own 51% of Sterling Enterprises. Time to make an entrance. Everyone present?" I heard Thomas ask through the door. "Almost," Angela responded. "Just waiting for the new majority shareholder." "Well, hurry up," Victoria snapped. "And someone get rid of that cleaning cart. This isn't a housekeeping meeting." I touched the documents in my briefcase, ownership papers, transfer records, evidence of every condescending comment and questionable decision they'd made while I watched and waited. "Ready," Angela messaged. "Born ready," I replied, straightening my tie. "Time to show them what the help can do." The conference room fell silent as I walked in, not through the service entrance they'd always forced me to use, but through the main doors, followed by my executive team. "What's the janitor doing here?" Thomas stood up, face reddening. "Security." "Actually," I smiled, placing my documents on the table, "I believe you'll find I'm your new boss. And we need to talk about some cleaning house, starting with current management." The silence that followed was absolutely perfect. "This is absurd," Victoria sputtered, her perfectly manicured hands trembling as she reached for the documents. "You're the janitor. The maintenance worker. The help." "James Chin," I corrected her, taking my seat at the head of the table, Thomas's usual spot. CEO of Phoenix Global Investments and, as of 5 minutes ago, majority shareholder of Sterling Enterprises. The board members shifted uncomfortably, finally recognizing me not as the invisible worker they'd stepped around, but as the billionaire investor whose name had been making headlines in the financial world. Impossible, Thomas whispered, frantically flipping through the ownership papers. We would have known, would have seen. Would you? I asked quietly, nodding to Angela, who began distributing more documents. You were too busy looking down on the maintenance staff to notice we were looking into everything. Marcus stepped forward, his tablet displaying real-time stock transfers. Phoenix Global now controls 51% of Sterling Enterprises through various subsidiaries. All perfectly legal, all completed while you were busy ordering the help around. The cleaning cart, one board member suddenly realized. All those maintenance checks. Due diligence, I confirmed. Amazing what you can learn when people think you're invisible. Like those creative accounting practices in the Thompson merger. Or the discriminatory hiring policies in the Asian markets. Victoria collapsed into her chair, her Louboutins suddenly looking garish rather than prestigious. The mystery buyer. All those shell companies. My companies, I nodded. Each one built while you thought I was fixing light bulbs and cleaning coffee stains. Though I particularly enjoyed overhearing your jokes about staying in your proper place. The conference room doors opened again as security teams, my security teams, took position along the walls. The same men and women the Sterlings had dismissed as minimum wage workers now stood ready to escort them out of their own building. The maintenance staff, Thomas choked out. They were all my employees? I smiled. Gathering evidence, documenting decisions, watching how you treated people you thought were beneath you. Consider it a long-term character assessment. One you failed spectacularly. Angela pulled up surveillance footage on the room's screens, 3 years of recorded conversations, dismissive comments, questionable business practices. All captured while they thought the cleaning crew was just part of the furniture. But your accent, Victoria protested weakly. The broken English when you cleaned. Princeton MBA actually, I replied in perfect upper-class English. Amazing how people reveal their true nature when they think they're talking to someone who can't understand them properly. My phone buzzed, a message from our PR team. Media arriving. Want us to release the statement about new ownership. Your father, Thomas suddenly remembered. He's on his way. He won't stand for this. Harrison Sterling? I raised an eyebrow. He signed off on the sale last week. Apparently he recognized my name from the Forbes billionaire list. Though he never connected it to the maintenance worker his children loved to torment. The color drained from both siblings' faces as their father walked in, not with the outrage they expected but with resignation. Dad. Victoria jumped up. Tell them this is a mistake. Harrison Sterling looked at his children, then at me. The mistake was raising you to think success only wore designer labels and came from proper backgrounds. Mr. Chin here built an empire while you were busy proving your superiority. You knew. Thomas whispered. I figured it out last month, Harrison admitted. When I realized the janitor who kept fixing our infrastructure problems had also been systematically fixing our company's future, by buying it. I stood up, straightening my custom suit. Now shall we discuss the restructuring? Starting with some changes in management. Changes in management? Victoria's voice rose an octave. You can't just walk in here and... Actually, Angela interrupted, displaying the ownership documents. He can. And considering the evidence we've gathered, you might want to consider a graceful exit. I opened my briefcase, removing more files. 3 years of documented discrimination, questionable financial practices, and corporate misconduct. Would you like me to continue, or shall we discuss your severance packages? Thomas lunged forward, his face purple. You manipulated us. Spied on us. No, I corrected calmly. I observed you. In your natural habitat. Treating people exactly as you thought they deserved to be treated. The maintenance uniform was simply a mirror reflecting your true character. The board members were now openly staring at the Sterling siblings, years of forced respect dissolving in the face of their impending downfall. The Thompson merger. One board member spoke up. when you kept pointing out infrastructure issues in their building. Due diligence, I nodded. Though if anyone had bothered to verify my maintenance reports, they'd have found detailed financial analyses hidden in plain sight. Marcus stepped forward with another set of documents. Your new positions should you choose to stay with the company. Entry-level, of course. We believe in earning advancement. Victoria snatched the paper then nearly choked. The mailroom? You're sending us to the mailroom. Consider it a learning opportunity, I smiled. Though you might want to invest in comfortable shoes. Those Louboutins aren't ideal for sorting packages. Harrison Sterling watched silently as his children's empire crumbled. The cleaning staff, all of them? MBAs, financial analysts, corporate investigators, I confirmed. Amazing what talent you can find when you don't judge by appearances. Your children's conversations about the help made excellent training material for our corporate culture seminars. My phone buzzed again. The media had arrived. Time for the final act. Now, I stood buttoning my jacket. Shall we proceed with the press conference? Unless you'd prefer I share those surveillance tapes instead. Thomas and Victoria exchanged panicked looks. Their carefully cultivated public image wouldn't survive the release of those recordings. The contracts, Angela announced, distributing final papers. Standard non-disclosure agreements, significantly reduced positions and transfer of all executive authority. One by one they signed. Even Thomas, his hand shaking as he surrendered his corner office for a basement desk. Oh, and Victoria? I added as she reached for the door. The conference room needs cleaning before the press arrives. Consider it your first assignment in the new organization. The media explosion that followed was spectacular. Billionaire investor reveals 3-year undercover operation, the headlines screamed. Sterling siblings discover their janitor is their new boss. That evening, as the dust settled and the last shell-shocked executive left the building, I sat in my new office, formerly Thomas's pride and joy, looking out over the city. To karma, Marcus raised his glass of champagne. And to the best long game I've ever witnessed. Angela entered with the final reports. The transition teams are in place and the new corporate policies are being distributed. Though you might enjoy knowing that Victoria's attempting to clean the conference room in her designer outfit. Send her some proper maintenance uniforms, I smiled. And make sure they're the extra scratchy kind she always complained about. My phone buzzed one last time, a message from Harrison Sterling. You taught them a lesson they'll never forget. Thank you. I showed it to Marcus, who laughed. Think they've learned about judging people by their uniforms? They will, I replied, picking up the maintenance badge I'd worn for 3 years. Though I think I'll keep this. As a reminder that sometimes the most powerful person in the room is the one they don't even see. To be continued in the epilogue.